Alright gearheads, you survived part 1, but now it's time for the big leagues. If you thought we were done burning rubber and guzzling gallons of high-octane glory, think again. Because part 2 is here, and these muscle cars are meaner, louder, and just as ridiculous as ever. We're diving into the underdogs, the forgotten legends, and the absolute beasts that kept the golden era of muscle alive, whether it was with massive V8s, absurd styling, or just sheer rebellious energy. And yes, we've got the flashy, the sleeper hits, and even the El Camino, the muscle car that moonlighted as a pickup truck because, well, why not? But before we fire up these monsters, let's see who really paid attention. If you watched part 1, you know what to do. Drop that secret code word in the comments below. That way we know you're part of the real muscle car crew who stuck around for a full ride. Now strap in, hold on to your mullets, and let's get back to the world where horsepower ruled and gas mileage was an afterthought. Buick Skylark GSX, the flashy muscle that backed up its look. Looking like it just burst out of a comic book, the Buick Skylark GSX was impossible to ignore. Decked out with bold stripes, a massive rear spoiler, and an attitude bigger than its 455 cubic inch engine, the GSX wasn't just for show. It could rip down the quarter mile like a runaway freight train. If muscle cars had a superhero, this would be the guy in the cape, making sure no lesser cars dared to step out of line. Dodge Dart Swinger 340, compact but lethal, like a V8 powered Ninja. The Dart Swinger 340 was the muscle car equivalent to that scrappy underdog in every sports movie who turns out to be an unstoppable beast. It wasn't huge, it wasn't flashy, but it had a high-revving 340 V8 stuffed into a lightweight body that made it a nightmare for the competition. You'd laugh at it at the stoplight, right up until it disappeared in a haze of tire smoke and humiliation. Ford Maverick Grabber, the underrated muscle that deserved more love. The Maverick Grabber didn't get nearly enough credit for being a fun, budget-friendly muscle car. With sporty graphics, optional V8 power, and a name that sounded like it belonged in a crime-fighting duo, the Grabber was a true hidden gem. It didn't need to scream for attention. Those who knew, knew. And if you underestimated it, well, that was your mistake. Plymouth Duster 340, the sleeper hit that loved making you look foolish. The Duster 340 was the muscle car equivalent of showing up to a street fight in a business suit and then knocking everyone out cold. It looked mild-mannered, but underneath the unassuming exterior was a high-revving 340 V8 that turned it into a menace on the street. Bigger muscle cars learned the hard way not to take this one lightly. If the Duster 340 had a motto, it would be, "Surprise, I'm faster than you." Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS 454, the big luxury bruiser that could still throw down. Imagine a muscle car that enjoyed fine dining but still wasn't afraid to get into a bar fight. That was the Monte Carlo SS 454. It came with a massive 454 big block V8 that made sure its hefty frame wasn't just for show. Sure, it was luxurious, but when you put your foot down, it moved with surprising authority, kind of like a heavyweight boxer in a tailored suit. Pontiac Ventura GTO, the compact muscle option for when you want speed in a smaller package. The Ventura GTO was like a pint-sized version of its bigger GTO sibling, proving that good things really do come in smaller high-revving packages. It may have been downsized, but Pontiac made sure it still had a potent V8, turning it into a leaner, meaner alternative for those who wanted muscle without the bulk. Think of it as the GTO's scrappy little brother who still packed a serious punch. Buick Century GS, the last of Buick's true muscle, gone but not forgotten. By 1973, the muscle car era was starting to fade, but Buick wasn't going down without a fight. Enter the Century GS, armed with a 455 Stage 1 engine and enough torque to pull a house off its foundation. It was the last real muscle car Buick would make before emissions regulations turned everything into rolling paperweights. A rare beast, this one is for those who appreciate the last stand of true muscle luxury. Ford Mustang II King Cobra, the late 70s contender, trying its best, bless its heart. By 1978, muscle cars were on life support, but Ford wasn't ready to pull the plug just yet. The Mustang II King Cobra came dressed to impress with aggressive graphics and a 302 V8. It wasn't the fire-breathing monster of the 60s, but it still had enough attitude to remind people that the Mustang hadn't completely lost its bite. If the golden age of muscle cars was over, at least the King Cobra went down swinging. Pontiac Can-Am, a one-year wonder that deserved more love. The Pontiac Can-Am was here for a good time, not a long time. Produced for just over 1 year in 1977, it came packing a 455 engine and unique styling that set it apart from the pack. Unfortunately, Pontiac ran into production issues, and only 1,377 of these rare beauties ever hit the road. If you see one today, take a moment to appreciate this unicorn of muscle cars. It's like spotting Bigfoot, except it makes a lot more noise. Chevrolet Corvette C3, the last of the performance vets, holding the line against regulations. By the early 1970s, the muscle car party was winding down thanks to emissions regulations and fuel crises. But the C3 Corvette wasn't about to go quietly. With options like the L82 350 V8, it fought to keep the muscle car spirit alive like a rock star refusing to leave the stage. It still had the looks, the speed, and that undeniable Corvette attitude, proving that even in an era of restrictions, America's sports car could still bring the heat. AMC AMX, a true two-seater muscle car, because who needs a back seat? The AMC AMX was a rebel in the muscle car world, a rare two-seater rocket that didn't care about practicality. Packing a lineup of powerful V8s, it was quick, stylish, and just different enough to make it stand out. It was the muscle car for those who didn't need room for passengers, just horsepower and attitude. If you owned an AMX, you weren't driving your friends around, you were leaving them behind at the stoplight. Oldsmobile Starfire GT, the mid-70s surprise that no one saw coming. Oldsmobile wasn't exactly known for breaking the mold, but the Starfire GT was an unexpected shot at some muscle car credibility. While it didn't have fire-breathing horsepower, it had sporty styling, a decent V8, and enough performance to make it a worthy competitor. Think of it as the guy at the party who's quiet at first but surprises everyone when he starts dominating the dance floor. Plymouth Barracuda, the Cuda that ruled the streets and scared the competition. The Cuda wasn't just a muscle car, it was a legend. Especially in its Hemi-powered form, it was an absolute street terror. With options like the 426 Hemi and 446 pack, it had more power than most people knew what to do with. This was the kind of car that made stoplight drag races legendary and left tire marks on the pavement and in people's memories. If you saw a Cuda in your rearview mirror, your best bet was just to pull over and admire it as it roared past. Mercury Cyclone spoiler, aerodynamic power that looked fast standing still. The Mercury Cyclone spoiler was built for speed, and it looked the part. With its sleek aerodynamic design and monstrous V8 options, it was ready to eat up highways and intimidate anything that dared challenge it. Today, it's a favorite among collectors because it's both rare and ridiculously cool. If Batman had a muscle car, the Cyclone spoiler might have been it. Chevrolet El Camino SS, the pickup with a punch, all cargo, haul ass. Who says trucks can't be muscle cars? The El Camino SS had the heart of a Chevelle and the utility of a pickup, making it one of the most unique muscle machines ever built. With a big block V8 under the hood, it could smoke tires just as easily as it could haul lumber. Whether you were racing on Friday or working on Saturday, the El Camino SS was always ready for action. Pontiac Grand Prix SJ, luxury meets muscle for those who wanted power with a touch of class. Some people wanted brute force, others wanted refinement. The Pontiac Grand Prix SJ gave you both. With a massive 455 V8 and styling that made it look more like a high-end cruiser than a tire-burning monster, it was the muscle car for those who wanted their speed served with a side of comfort. Think of it as a muscle car that put on a tuxedo but could still throw a mean right hook. And there you have it, folks, 32 of the most legendary, tire-shredding, gas-guzzling muscle cars from the 1970s. These were the glory days before gas prices skyrocketed and emissions regulations started sucking the fun out of our beloved V8 beasts. It was a time when bigger was always better, speed was king, and fuel economy was just a fairy tale parents told their kids at bedtime. Now, we probably missed one or two of your all-time favorites. Maybe your uncle's rare special edition, ultra-limited secret menu muscle car didn't make the list. If that's the case, let us know in the comments, but go easy on us. We're car enthusiasts, not mind readers. So, which of these classics do you dream about owning? Or better yet, do you actually have one sitting in your garage, waiting to terrorize the streets? We want to hear all about it. Drop a comment below and let's talk muscle. And if you enjoyed this trip down horsepower lane, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more automotive greatness. Until next time, keep it loud, keep it fast, and for the love of all things holy, keep that rubber burning.